American Dream in 2025 cost a whopping $5 million. This is $600,000 more than it did last year. It's according to an Investopedia study that estimates the lifetime cost of 8 major life categories commonly associated with achieving the American Dream. This includes retirement, home ownership, and healthcare, among other categories. Joining me now, I got Caleb Silver, editor-in-chief at Investopedia. Caleb, always great to see you. So the American Dream is going to cost $5 million. Let's start there. How do we define the American Dream? Walk us through it. Walk us through the criteria.
Yeah, great question. And everybody's dream actually has a different price tag. Yours is different than mine. But we looked at what people want, the wants, not the needs. And we actually surveyed our readers and beyond to find out what are the essentials for you that would make you consider yourself financially stable, that you finally made enough to be able to make those types of decisions. And you mentioned a lot of them. We're talking about retirement, healthcare, owning a home, potentially having 2 kids, sending them to college, having a new car every 10 years, having a pet. Pets get very expensive, my friend, marrying somebody off. So looking at an annual vacation, all these things priced in today's dollars, these things add up to about $5 million plus. The thing is, as you know, if you make the median income throughout your whole working life, 25 to 65, you get to around $2.3, $2.4 million depending. There's that gap there. Again, everybody's price tag is different, but these are the things that most people associate with, if I've done the work, if I worked hard, if I've saved, this is what I should be able to have. Again, the wants, not the needs.
Pets are expensive, by the way.
Absolutely.
I mean, my vet took a few teeth out of my dog. I didn't know she had teeth. Thousands. It's thousands, Caleb. $5 million. How does that compare versus last year? It went up 600,000?
Yeah, but we also added a little bit more around healthcare because we took healthcare at a base level in our initial surveys of the last couple of years, but we know that people, by asking them through the survey, are thinking about premium healthcare in case something happened beyond the very basic. So that's very important to American families, and they said as much, and that is about $414,000 over a lifetime. Again, these are lifetime costs, adult lifetime costs, and you look at retirement, $1.6 million. That would give you around $67,000 to $68,000 a year for 20 years after the retirement age of 65. Again, for some people, not nearly enough. For some people, too much, but it all depends on what it costs to be the you that you want to be, and that's how we boiled this down.
The $5 million, how does that compare to sort of the lifetime earnings of most Americans?
Yeah, it's about 2 to 3 million higher than most people are going to earn, which is why we need to invest. How do you fill the gap? You fill the gap through investing, through saving, through owning assets. And if you're not investing or you don't have asset ownership, it's very hard to cross that threshold into the feeling wealthy, that sense of I can make decisions based on what I need to do for what's best for my family without worrying too much about money.
What kind of education do people typically need to hit that $5 million bogey?
Yeah, well, education usually helps, but we've seen some softness for people that have college degrees, but it's not just about that. It's about increasing your income over time and then paying your future self through the investing part, which is why we stress it so much and which is why that number is the biggest one out there next to home ownership. Now, not everybody wants to own a home, not everybody can own a home, but if that is part of your plan, you better budget $900,000 at least over, again, the lifetime of owning that home because the median price is around $415,000. You know, in different parts of the country, it's a lot more than that. Again, these are the base levels of this, and your dream, the important thing is to find your own number and work your way back from that.
Does everybody, Caleb, typically have to be working in the house to hit that dream? Is it a dual income?
Household income. And that households, you know, can be 2 to 3 plus people. We're also talking about having a couple of kids and then eventually sending them to college. Kids from the toddler age up until you send them to college, through college, that can cost quite a bit when you think about camp and you think about childcare and all the things that go with it. Again, not everybody wants these things, but in our surveys, most people identified with these categories, and then I got to put a price tag in today's dollars, given inflation, for a lot of the things that have gone up more than inflation, housing prices, college tuition, et cetera.
Now, here we're talking about national averages, Caleb, right? But the cost would, of course, vary depending on where I live in the country.
Absolutely. If you want to do this up in Greenwich, Connecticut, you know you're going to need to add some commas onto that $5 million. If you want to do this in other parts of the country, it's more affordable. If you want to send your kids to community college or state school, or maybe you get a scholarship or financial aid, it looks different. The reason we do this is because everybody's talking about the loss of the American dream or lamenting it or saying it's out of reach. Well, know what that reach is by determining what your number is. Again, what does it cost to be the you want to be? Work your way back from that. It might not be $5 million, it might be lower, it might be higher.
Finally, before I let you go, I always like to get a quick pulse check from you. The Investopedia audience, all those Investopedia fans, just how are they feeling about the markets right now?
Yeah, the smartest.
Cautious, constructive, what do they think?
Yeah, these are the educated investors, cautious and constructive, enjoying the all-time highs, but worried. And they're seeing
What's on the worry list?
the worry list is the economy right now and the impact that we really haven't felt, but we're starting to feel about tariffs. And then what happens when the economy and the stock market, which are very different, really head the other direction very quickly. And I feel like we're at that point where you're kind of feeling the pull in two different directions here. This bubble up of asset price